Hey everybody, it's Alfie. Hope you guys are having a good holiday. I am, because Mando Season 2 is here. So, yeah. We're gonna rank the episodes, and, yeah, let's get into it. So, Mandalorian Season 2. Wow. I'm just gonna make this a statement, a fact at this point. The Mandalorian, the show as a whole, has been the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. And 2020, where we got Mandalorian Season 2 and Clone Wars Season 7, has been the best Star Wars since the original trilogy. No doubt about it. I mean, I love Revenge of the Sith, but it doesn't scream Star Wars. I love that these, feel very close, very attached to the original trilogy, but still, its own thing. I love that. I think that's great. It's just some of the best Star Wars we have gone in a very long time. So we're gonna do the ranking. Prior to doing this ranking, I went back today to rewatch the entire season, just to see if anything had changed, and some of the episodes shifted a little bit on my list, but it's been a great season overall. There hasn't really been a bad episode. Season 1 didn't really have a bad episode, but the 5th episode, it was fine. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really good either. I do like Season 2 a bit more than Season 1. I just think it's a bit more consistent overall. Very good season. Before we get into it, there is going to be some spoilers in this video, guys. So if you have not seen the entire season of The Mandalorian Season 2, what are you doing? Go watch it! If you're a fan of Star Wars and you haven't watched Mandalorian Season 2, go check it out. Last episode dropped this weekend. Just watch it. Coming in at last place, I have Episode 2, The Passenger. Now, Episode 2, I feel like, is a lot of people's weakest episode, and yeah, I can see that. Rewatching it today, it's a bit better than I remembered. I really liked the Frog Lady. I think it was cool, to kind of see the New Republic with the X-Wing pilots, kind of as patrol cops. Oh, that was nice, and, the spiders were fun, gave me some real Lord of the Rings vibes, so that was good for sure. Without the spiders, probably wouldn't have been as good, but it did have the spiders, so yeah, very good episode, really enjoyed it. Just not the best one of the season, but still, a really good one. Number 7, now this one ranked a little higher on my list the week I watched it. That's The Siege, Episode 4. The Siege was very good, honestly, very good. Carl Weathers directed this one, so that was kind of cool. I'm a big fan of his, Apollo Creed, Predator, underrated actor, and I think, he did a really good job with this episode. It's fun. I love the action. The chase is a lot of fun. It didn't really move the story forward. It's probably the less beneficial episode to the story, but still, it's a pretty good episode. But, rewatching it today, it wasn't as good as I previously thought. Next, on number 6. Now, this is probably the most overrated episode of the season. I still really enjoy this one, but I just don't think it's quite as good as everybody says it is. It's The Heirs. Prior to today, I thought this was one of the weakest episodes. And, it's not that much higher on my list. It just switched up with The Siege. But I still really, really like this episode. Bryce Dallas Howard, I think, did a great job. The production design is really, really good, especially in this one. I mean, the whole show has some great practical stuff, but this episode really looks nice. I really like the action, and Bo-Katan returning. I'm not a huge fan of her as a character. I don't think she's like one of the best characters, but I think Mandalorian, the show, could really do something interesting with her, especially with Season 3, what kind of the cliffhanger we got at the end of the finale. Also, it's kind of a pivotal episode in general for the series, you know, just because Mando's starting to see that maybe he's questioning his beliefs, and I think that was very interesting to see. At number 5, I have one of the most underrated episode of the season in my opinion, and that is The Believer. I think this episode had some great action. The chase on the train, that was really cool. Kind of the train fight. Mando just fighting without his armor and still being a total badass. I like what they did with Bill Burr's character, you know, gave him a little bit more of a background, and I thought that really worked. And we kind of get a new point of view on the Empire. They kind of shift our perspective a little bit here, where, you know, for the first time in forever, the TIE fighters, we hear them, but they're not shooting at our heroes. They're actually helping our heroes. That was a big moment, definitely, for Star Wars. You just, everybody respects each other, and they're united. And then you meet the officers, and they're kind of dicks. So you're back at what you used to think about the Empire. But the big part about this episode is Mando removing his helmet, and that just hit me right there. I just, whoa, wow, that's how much he cares about the kid. That just really hit me. It just really worked on so many levels. Coming in at number 4, and I cannot believe this one is this low. This is really where they get tough to rank, and it's the tragedy. The emotional moments are really there. They really worked. It's the shortest episode, and I think, you know, Robert Rodriguez, Robert Rodriguez? What is he doing here? He does an amazing job directing this episode. It's the shortest one, but it works. The action is awesome. We just get everybody, you know, smashing stormtroopers. It's fun. It's great. Love it. And we get little Grogu meditating, just like. But the best part about this episode is obviously Boba Fett. Robert Rodriguez just put Boba Fett. He skyrocketed up my list of favorite Star Wars characters. Just so good. He's so badass. You know, I thought he was a bit of an overrated character before. You know, he didn't really do anything in the original trilogy, but he really does something cool with him, and he just smashes those stormtroopers. It was awesome. Loved that. Super excited for the book of Boba Fett. Probably my most anticipated Star Wars to come. You know, not just as a show, but as a movie, apart from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Robert Rodriguez plus Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they're all producing the Book of Boba Fett, so we're gonna get more of this epic Boba. And the post-credit scene of the finale gets me so hyped for this. At number 3, I have the Marshal. The first episode, still one of the best ones. This, in my opinion, this episode feels the closest thing we've gone to A New Hope since A New Hope, you know? This feels really like the first movie, and I loved it. I love the action with the Queen Dragon. I thought that was awesome. Love Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant did a great job. I love what they do with the Tusken Raiders. You know, they're more, you know, you understand kind of their side, and that's what the show does a lot. You know, it takes you back to places you've been, but it shifts. It looks at things in different perspectives, and I think that's really awesome about this show. I really love what they did in the third act with the IMAX. That was pretty cool. So that was a really good start to the new season. That really got me hyped. I was going nuts. And Boba Fett showing up at the end, that was like. Coming in at number 2. Now the top 2 are pretty obvious for me. At number 2, I have episode 8, The Rescue. Some people are saying that this episode is the best thing that has happened to Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. And honestly, I don't disagree. I think it's amazing. The action, first of all, amazing action. The Moff Gideon against the Mandalorian or the Dark Troopers. Their score, by the way, the score for this show is amazing, especially season 2. Ludwig Göransson is one of the best up-and-coming composers right now, and the guy just destroys every score he makes. He's amazing. You know why this episode is so good? Luke Skywalker is back, and that hallway scene, you know, where he's just, You know what I'm talking about. That rivals the Darth Vader scene. And then, they got the CGI face, and that didn't really work for me. That really took me out of the moment. But as soon as I see that X-Wing, I'm like, oh my god, it's Luke Skywalker. And this episode just left me trembling. I could not move after watching this. I really, my legs were trembling. I'm serious. And I was like, oh my god, and my sister beside me, who's a Star Wars fan, but she doesn't really care, She's just like, she's a teenager, and she's just like, shut up. Just shut up. You did this with episode 6 with Boba Fett. Just shut up. I just kept watching, and I just went, I love this episode. This, a lot of people, I've seen reactions, some people cried when they saw Luke. I was really I was super excited. I was like, oh my god. And the post-credit scene, it's amazing. But my numero uno is gonna be episode 5, The Jedi. It's impressive because Dave Filoni directed the weakest episode of season 1, so episode 5, who was the weakest episode. But here, he directed the best episode of the show. First of all, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka is amazing. First time I watched the episode, I was kind of looking like, is she like Ahsoka? Is she? And then I just rewatched it today, and I didn't really pay attention to that, and I just think she fit in the role amazingly. Yeah, she was really good, and I can't wait for her to get her own show. I think that's gonna be really good. But the action is great, really fun. The cinematography is amazing, probably the best of the season, where we have a lot of planets, and I thought it was cool because season 1 we were on sand planets and kind of deserted planets, and that was not as engaging as here. We get a new planet almost every episode, and that was really cool. And we get a lot of backstory on Baby Yoda or Grogu, which is gonna take a lot of time to get used to. But overall, I think this is the best episode of the season because of what it did. It stands on its own really well. I really enjoyed rewatching it today. And this season 1, I feel like brought a lot of people to Star Wars, like newcomers. And season 2, it brought in the newcomers, and it also brought in the real hardcore fans, and it just gave them something. A lot of people are saying the fan service is a bit much, but I think it works. If they don't utilize the fan favorites too much, don't bring Luke as the main player, just don't do that. Just bring him in at one point where Grogu comes back, or we see a little training montage, but you don't have to bring them all the time. That's why I'm happy that Ahsoka is getting her own show, because I think this show is so original, and I don't want it to, get entangled in the Skywalker saga and everything. It's its own thing, and that's what it needs to stay at. So, overall, I love this season. It's better than season 1, and it's some of the best Star Wars we've gone. And as a fan, this season brought me back to me as a little kid. And I am a kid, but a really little kid, 5-year-old me, watching Empire Strikes Back, remembering that scene on Hoth, and I'm just like. So, tell me, what did you think about season 2? Did you think the fan service was a bit much, or did you love it? Personally, I loved it. I'm all for it. But tell me what you guys thought of this season in the comments below. Do you agree with my picks? Which one do you prefer, and which one do you like a little least? Maybe we'll have the same list, maybe not. That's okay. But anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Like the video. Go check out my letterbox and my Instagram. Links should be down below if I don't get too lazy. Thank you guys for watching, and next video we're getting the top 10 of 2020. So see you guys later. Bye bye. And a Merry Christmas to you all.